You think you've heard some dumb tech questions? Oh no, you've just scratched the surface of America's greatest digital disasters. From people trying to charge their phones in the microwave, to someone yelling at their toaster like it's Siri. These are the most gloriously ridiculous tech support calls ever made. This isn't just user error, this is a nationwide crisis of common sense. Welcome to the Hall of Tech Shame. 1. A customer once called tech support, complaining that their computer wouldn't turn on. After 20 minutes of troubleshooting, the technician asked if the computer was plugged in. The customer paused, then said, "Do you mean it needs electricity?" Yep. That's when the tech quietly died inside. 2. A man called tech support completely convinced that his smart refrigerator was angry at him. Every time he slammed the door a little too hard, the fridge beeped loudly, which he interpreted as passive-aggressive revenge. After some patient explanation, he learned it was just a basic door sensor alert. Honestly, I'd be more worried if the fridge started giving him the silent treatment. 3. A woman called in furious because her cup holder broke off. Turns out she was putting her coffee mug into the CD drive. The real shocker? She'd been doing it for months with no idea it wasn't meant for beverages. 4. A caller complained that their keyboard stopped working entirely. The support rep asked them to try typing something. The customer replied, "I can't. I spilled maple syrup on it and now it smells like pancakes." At least it was a sweet failure. 5. One man believed his new smart thermostat had hacked the seasons because it kept cooling the house in summer. After a patient talk, he learned thermostats don't call the shots over Mother Nature. Honestly, if they did, I'd be ordering extra spring days all year long. 6. A woman called tech support when her screen went black. She thought her computer had died. It turned out she'd hit the monitor's power switch by mistake. Even tech needs a break. 7. One woman thought her wireless router ran on air, literally expecting it to work without plugging it into an outlet. When told it still needed power, she accused tech companies of false advertising. Somewhere, even the Wi-Fi waves cringed in embarrassment. 8. A man kept yelling at his smart speaker to vacuum the floor and got furious when nothing happened. Turns out, he was shouting at his Amazon Echo, while the actual robotic vacuum quietly waited for app instructions nearby. Guess even smart homes need a project manager. 9. A man got into a shouting match with his car's GPS, claiming it was disrespecting him by refusing to let him drive through a closed construction zone. After ignoring every detour and yelling, "I know a shortcut," he drove straight into wet cement. Somewhere, a traffic cone whispered, "Told you so." 10. One woman couldn't find the any key. Her screen said, "Press any key to continue," and she kept looking for a button labeled any. After 5 minutes, she exclaimed, "You people need clearer instructions." Honestly, maybe she has a point. 11. One customer claimed that their new smart speaker had developed an attitude because it kept misunderstanding every music request. After a frustrating back and forth, tech support discovered the device was accidentally set to respond in Portuguese. To be fair, I'd also sound cranky if people kept yelling at me in the wrong language. 12. A man called tech support, insisting that his new keyboard wasn't typing any letters. When asked to describe what he was seeing, he said he was pressing the keys but the screen only showed whiteout everywhere. Turns out he had physically painted the screen with correction fluid to erase mistakes. If only it worked that way on bad decisions too. 13. A woman was furious because her laptop was broken beyond repair. She had thrown it into a swimming pool because she read online that water cooling improves performance. Honestly, imagine trusting life advice from a comment section without even blinking. 14. A woman called tech support panicking that her robotic vacuum was attacking the dog. Every time her dog darted across the room, the vacuum chased after it, activating full pursuit mode. Turns out, the motion sensors were just doing their job. Honestly, it sounded less like tech support and more like refereeing a living room rodeo. 15. A guy reported that his laptop wasn't charging no matter what he did. After several restarts and cord checks, they finally asked him to describe what he saw when plugging it in. His answer? The power strip's little red switch thingy is lit up, but it's in the off position, right? Right? Apparently, even tiny lights can be misleading for some. 16. A customer angrily claimed their antivirus software wasn't stopping the bugs they kept seeing on their screen. After walking them through a scan, the tech discovered the caller wasn't talking about digital bugs. There were real ants crawling across the monitor. I guess the software was missing in exterminator mode. 17. One caller was locked out of their smart oven because it suddenly demanded a PIN code before cooking anything. Panicked, they assumed the oven had gone rogue. In reality, they had accidentally enabled parental controls meant to stop kids from using the stove. Guess they accidentally child-proofed themselves and invented a new diet plan. 18. A man contacted support demanding a full refund because his smartwatch didn't track his happiness levels, like he saw in an ad. He genuinely believed the device could measure moods. After a long conversation, it was explained that fitness trackers aren't therapy sessions. Somewhere, an exhausted Fitbit support agent added emotional counseling to their resume. 19. A woman shoved a USB stick into the HDMI port of her TV, expecting it to automatically install internet. When nothing happened, she blamed the TV for being stubborn. Turns out, hardware isn't magic, no matter how much you yell at it. 20. A woman thought her tablet was spying on her because the screen kept flashing a strange light. After many questions, it turned out she had placed a small hand mirror next to the device, and the light was just her own reflection catching sunlight. Imagine thinking you've been hacked by the sun. 21. A man called in because he was trying to send an email by placing a printed letter against his webcam, hoping the computer would scan it and email it automatically. Somewhere, a fax machine weeps quietly in the corner. 22. One customer was furious because their brand new solar-powered garden lights were being racist, since they only turned on at night and not during the day. It took a lot of explaining that solar lights store sunlight energy to work after dark. Honestly, it's amazing we trust people with solar panels on their roofs. 23. A caller kept insisting their monitor was broken because everything looks tiny and far away. After asking several questions, the tech found out the caller had accidentally set the desktop background to a photo of a dollhouse. Honestly, I kind of want to try this just to feel like a giant for a day. 24. A guy strapped his fitness tracker to his dog to boost his daily steps, thinking it was free workout points. His app proudly congratulated him on setting a new marathon record, while he barely moved from his couch. 25. One man claimed his new laptop was missing the letter P. After some confused back and forth, it turned out the protective plastic film over the keyboard made the keys stick. Instead of removing it, he just kept slamming the keys harder. Persistence isn't always a virtue. 26. A frustrated customer tried to program his regular toaster by tapping Morse code patterns on the lever, believing the right sequence would unlock hidden functions. Turns out, no amount of SOS tapping gets you artisanal toast. 27. Someone once demanded a refund because their wireless headphones didn't work underwater. They had tried using Bluetooth earbuds while scuba diving. Imagine trusting Wi-Fi in the middle of an ocean. 28. A woman reported her smart mirror was broken because it kept showing the same outfit every morning. After some confused troubleshooting, she realized the mirror wasn't smart at all. It was just a regular mirror. Somewhere, a real smart mirror is out there, rolling its digital eyes and waiting for someone smarter. 29. A caller said their desktop wasn't recognizing the new external hard drive they bought. When asked to describe it, they said it was small, black, and smells like burnt toast. Turns out they were trying to plug in a sandwich maker. Somewhere, the IT gods screamed into a pillow. 30. One person complained that they couldn't download apps onto their new smartphone. Why? Because they were tapping the icons on a printed paper manual, waiting for something to happen. Patience is a virtue, but it won't make paper interactive. 31. A man called tech support because his new robotic lawnmower kept running away from the yard. After some investigation, they realized he hadn't set up the boundary wires. In his words, I thought it would just know the property lines. Apparently, even machines prefer not getting arrested for trespassing. 32. A customer couldn't figure out why her webcam wasn't working during Zoom meetings. After 30 minutes of troubleshooting, it turned out she had taped over the camera lens for privacy and forgot about it. Ironically, the tape actually worked perfectly, just not in the way she wanted. 33. One woman demanded a refund because her voice-controlled blender wouldn't listen to her commands. Turns out, she hadn't bought a smart blender at all, just a regular one with a touch button. Imagine whispering sweet nothings to your kitchen appliances and being heartbroken when they ghost you. 34. A man kept getting an invalid password error. When asked what he was typing, he said, "stars," because when you type a password, it always shows little stars, right? Sometimes, reality is much less magical than people hope. 35. Someone thought their smartwatch was glitching because it kept buzzing randomly. It turned out he had enabled a reminder to stretch every hour, but forgot he worked from bed. Stretching? More like snoozing with style. 36. A woman panicked because her laptop battery life dropped to 0 after only an hour of use, despite being told it had a 10-hour battery. After a few questions, the tech discovered she had set the screen brightness and volume to maximum while running 17 browser tabs, all playing videos. Battery life, it's not magic, folks. 37. A man insisted his computer must be hacked because it knew the time even after he unplugged it. It took 20 minutes to explain that computers have internal clocks with tiny batteries. Honestly, the fact that he thought it was witchcraft almost makes me nostalgic for medieval thinking. 38. Someone called tech support absolutely furious because their smart lights refused to turn purple when they screamed at them. After troubleshooting, they discovered the lights were voice-controlled, yes, but only through an app they had never downloaded. Somewhere, a phone is quietly judging its owner from inside a drawer. 39. One caller complained that their brand new laptop was making a loud buzzing noise and demanded an immediate replacement. After some questions, it turned out the noise was just the fan. It was the first time they heard active cooling and assumed something inside was angrily vibrating. Imagine thinking your laptop is growling at you for working too hard. 40. A woman insisted her new smart lock was haunted because it kept unlocking itself late at night. After a full tech audit, it turned out the neighbor's Wi-Fi signal was interfering with her auto unlock feature. Honestly, when your door decides it prefers your neighbor, maybe it's time to rethink your friendships too. 41. A woman called tech support, screaming that her brand new laptop was on fire. After a lot of frantic back and forth, the technician discovered she had placed a scented candle behind the open screen and the rising heat was making the plastic warm. Who knew Vanilla Breeze could almost cause a 5-alarm panic? 42. One caller swore their smart thermostat was broken because it felt colder than outside. Turns out they had confused Fahrenheit with Celsius and were unknowingly trying to heat their home to the temperature of a meat freezer. Physics. 1. Customer instincts. 0. 43. One caller complained that their wireless printer kept rejecting paper. After several minutes of investigation, they admitted they had been trying to feed the paper in sideways and getting increasingly angry at the machine for being fussy. In this battle of man versus technology, basic geometry lost badly. 44. A man demanded tech support for his smartwatch because it refused to find his soulmate. After an hour of painful conversation, the agent figured out he had confused his fitness tracker's Find My Phone feature with an actual dating service. Honestly, if only dating apps worked by heart rate too. 45. Someone refused to pay for their new home security system because, in their words, "The cameras are broken. They only show strangers outside my house." The tech had to explain. That's exactly what outdoor security cameras are supposed to do. Sometimes, reality itself feels like a scam. 46. A man called support convinced his Bluetooth tracker was possessed because it kept updating his cat's location to a random neighbor's lawn. After reviewing logs, tech discovered he had tied the tracker to a stray dog wearing someone else's AR game collar. Some dogs just love adventure. 47. A caller claimed their computer had been possessed because random music kept playing. After an hour of troubleshooting, it turned out there was a YouTube playlist set to autoplay on a hidden tab. Nothing says modern poltergeist like a forgotten Spotify window. 48. A woman called support furious because her new smart oven kept ignoring dinner instructions. Turns out she had been shouting "roast chicken" at it without selecting any settings. In her defense, if appliances could obey telepathic cooking wishes, we'd all be Michelin chefs by now. Instead, she just got raw poultry and heartbreak. 49. A woman thought her new smartwatch was broken because it wasn't keeping proper time. Turns out she hadn't finished setting it up and it was still on factory default mode, stuck in a different time zone entirely. Somewhere in Tokyo, her wrist was right on schedule. 50. A man complained his smart security camera was being lazy because it only recorded after movement. He believed it should watch everything, even when nothing's happening. The agent patiently explained the concept of motion detection, while the man mourned all the thrilling footage of his empty porch doing nothing. 51. A caller panicked because their computer got hacked. All because the screensaver changed to flying toasters without their permission. In reality, it was a prank set up by their grandchild. Honestly, if toasters are the worst cyber threat you face, you're living a blessed life. 52. A customer angrily returned their smart sprinkler system because it refused to water their vegetable garden. Turns out they rigged the control unit inside their garage, convinced the system would pipe water uphill through Wi-Fi signals. If only irrigation tech could beat gravity's laws. 53. A man demanded compensation because the wireless speaker he bought wasn't connecting to his phone. After a while, tech support discovered he had bought a Bluetooth toothbrush instead. Somehow, he thought blasting music through dental hygiene was the next big thing. 54. One woman demanded a refund because her smart fridge lied about the temperature. She had placed a thermometer on the outside door and got a different reading. Somewhere, a poor Whirlpool engineer is probably still weeping quietly into a blueprint. 55. One caller said their laptop screen looked weird and fuzzy. After a few basic checks, the technician realized they hadn't taken the protective film off the screen. Good news, the problem peeled right off. Bad news, they thought it was a safety feature and wanted it back. 56. A man insisted that his voice-controlled lights were being stubborn because they didn't change colors during thunderstorms. After a while, the truth came out. He thought they would naturally sync with the mood of the weather. Honestly, even Pixar movies don't have that much emotional lighting. 57. A woman believed her laptop was cursed because every time she opened a specific Word document, it screamed at her. After investigating, tech support found she had accidentally embedded a horror movie sound clip into the document as background audio. Honestly, Microsoft Office needs a no jump scares warning. 58. A caller complained their smart garage door opener was refusing to close unless they spoke a secret passphrase. After 30 minutes of confusion, tech support found out vacation mode had been enabled, requiring a voice pin for extra security while the house was empty. 59. A caller insisted his smartwatch must be broken because it kept counting ghost steps. After reviewing the data, it turned out he had been shaking his arm while playing video games. Apparently, in the fitness world, rage quitting counts as cardio now. 60. One man returned his smart water bottle saying it was defective because it kept telling him to drink more water. Apparently, he didn't appreciate being nagged by a glorified bottle. Somewhere, a personal trainer is chuckling at the thought of being replaced by a $40 plastic jug. 61. One man called in absolutely livid because his laptop wouldn't recognize his fingerprints. After careful troubleshooting, the tech asked if anything had changed recently. Turns out, he had burnt his fingers on a barbecue grill the night before. Technology is smart, but it can't read charcoal. 62. A woman called tech support in a panic because her fitness tracker kept congratulating her at odd times. Turns out her dog had stolen it, and the tracker thought all the random running around was a personal best. Honestly, if dogs could enter fitness competitions, humans wouldn't stand a chance. 63. A caller insisted that their computer monitor was shrinking because everything looked smaller each day. After days of confusion, someone finally realized that their chair was sinking slowly because of a broken gas lift. Sometimes gravity is the real hacker. 64. A man complained that his new car's parking sensors must be hacked because they kept beeping non-stop. Turns out he had tied helium balloons to the bumper for his kid's birthday party, and the sensors were detecting them all the way to the supermarket. 65. One customer thought their webcam was hacked because it blinked at them. After hours of panic, the truth came out. It was simply the autofocus adjusting. Somewhere out there, a Logitech engineer just shed a proud tear. 66. A customer sent an angry complaint because her smart scale was being rude by showing her weight immediately without asking permission first. Somewhere deep in tech support files, there's a whole section labeled Customer Expectations versus Reality. 67. A man claimed his Wi-Fi was too slow because he had placed the router inside a microwave oven for extra shielding. At that point, even the technician didn't bother explaining. He just quietly recommended a cable connection and moved on with his life. 68. One woman demanded tech support for her smart dishwasher because it refused to wash only the red plates. She thought color-coding the dishes would teach the machine personalized cleaning. Somewhere out there, a dishwasher is dreaming of the day it can take art school classes instead of handling spaghetti stains. 69. A man called in furious that his smart vacuum refused to clean a carpeted area of his living room. Turns out he had forgotten a full toolbox on the carpet, and the vacuum's obstacle sensors kept politely avoiding the minefield. Not a bug, just common sense in action. 70. A man was outraged that his smart coffee machine didn't brew different drinks depending on his mood. He thought if he looked sad enough, the machine would automatically make hot chocolate. Sadly, despite the advances of AI, coffee makers still don't have degrees in emotional support therapy. 71. A man demanded a refund because his phone refused to charge with a premium charger he bought at a gas station. The charger turned out to be just a colorful shoelace with USB plugs glued on. Creativity, 10/10. Functionality, not so much. 72. A woman called in tears because her smart pet feeder ignored her dog's birthday. She had set a reminder for extra treats but forgot to confirm it. Somewhere, a very disappointed golden retriever is still waiting for his cake, while tech support quietly lights a pity candle. 73. One caller was upset that their new wireless keyboard kept disconnecting. After lengthy troubleshooting, it turned out they had placed it inside the fridge because they wanted a cold typing experience. The dedication to chill productivity was admirable, at least. 74. A caller demanded a refund because her smart speaker kept playing creepy whispers at night. Turns out she had left an ambient horror playlist running all day without realizing it. Honestly, nothing says "welcome home" like being jump-scared by your own living room. 75. A man refused to believe his printer needed ink to function because it's a laser printer. Lasers don't run out. I guess we should be thankful he didn't also expect it to double as a lightsaber. 76. A man reported that his new smart doorbell wasn't properly warning him about dangerous visitors. When questioned, he admitted he was upset it didn't flash red lights whenever his mother-in-law approached. Unfortunately, there's no firmware yet for family drama detection. 77. A man said his laptop was broken because he dropped it, and gravity should have been disabled indoors to prevent accidents. I don't even know where to start with that logic, but at least he's thinking bigger than most of us. 78. A woman panicked because her smart lamp kept randomly flashing blue at night. After hours of troubleshooting, it turned out she had enabled party mode by accident, and the lamp was patiently waiting for music that never came. Somewhere, an abandoned disco ball is nodding in approval. 79. A woman said her car's Bluetooth wouldn't pair with her phone and demanded a replacement vehicle. It turned out she was trying to connect to the neighbor's car by accident. Somewhere nearby, a stranger wondered why their dashboard kept playing Taylor Swift. 80. A woman demanded tech support because her smart mattress wasn't adjusting based on her emotional stress levels. She expected it to soften when she was sad and firm up when she was angry. Somewhere, a sleep scientist just resigned in despair. 81. One customer said their computer must be broken because it stopped greeting me in the morning. Turns out, they had just disabled the startup chime. Imagine needing a digital good morning to feel seen. 82. A caller was furious that their new smart garden system refused to grow tomatoes faster. They believed the smart part meant it could override biology and speed up the harvest. I guess someone skipped the part where Wi-Fi can't hack Mother Nature, yet. 83. A caller asked how to refill their wireless mouse with new wireless. They genuinely believed Wi-Fi could run out, like printer ink. Somewhere, a Wi-Fi router just collapsed from secondhand embarrassment. 84. A man insisted that his smartwatch was broken because it congratulated him for climbing stairs, even though he lived in a one-story house. Turned out his parrot kept flying up and down between a chair and a ceiling fan while wearing the watch for fun. 85. A man insisted that the reason his hard drive failed was because he had yelled at it too much. He genuinely believed he had hurt its feelings. If hardware had emotions, half the tech world would be in therapy. 86. Someone complained their smart TV kept suggesting boring movies and demanded a refund for lack of good taste. Turns out they had rated all the exciting action films with 1 star just to be sarcastic. And the algorithm took it very, very seriously. Honestly, you reap what you rate. 87. A caller said their gaming console was broken because it refused to read a disc. When asked what disc they were using, they proudly replied, "It's my old driver's license." I guess it's hard to beat that level of creative multitasking. 88. A man was angry that his smart toaster refused to accept verbal apologies after he accidentally burnt his toast. He genuinely believed apologizing would reset the settings somehow. Somewhere, a perfectly charred slice is still waiting for emotional closure. 89. A man thought his wireless headphones needed to soak up Wi-Fi energy overnight, leaving them on top of his router. Shockingly, just sunbathing your tech doesn't recharge it, yet. 90. A woman insisted her smart ceiling fan was malfunctioning because it wouldn't turn on when she stared at it hard enough. Turns out she believed smart meant it could pick up on non-verbal commands. If looks could kill or cool, you wouldn't need electricity. 91. A man insisted that Alexa was spying on him because it kept mentioning weather updates. Turns out he had set up weather notifications himself weeks ago and just forgot. Honestly, sometimes the biggest surveillance threat is your own bad memory. 92. A customer demanded a refund because his new smart toothbrush ignored his motivational pep talks. He believed if he hyped it up before brushing, it should automatically clean better. If only confidence could remove plaque as well as toothpaste does. 93. Someone once filed a complaint because their smart lock didn't recognize their dog's bark as authorized entry. In a weird way, you have to respect the optimism. 94. One man accused his smart trash can of being judgmental because it beeped loudly every time he approached it with fast food wrappers. Turns out it was just low on battery. Still, nothing stings quite like being roasted by your own garbage bin. 95. A man believed he had hacked the system because he printed a screenshot of his bank balance and tried to deposit the printout at an ATM. Creativity level, high. Success rate, tragic. 96. A caller was convinced her smart lamp was haunted because it kept flickering at 3 a.m. After an exhaustive investigation, it turned out the cat loved knocking into the touch-sensitive base during nightly zoomies. If ghosts are real, they must be fluffy and purring. 97. A woman angrily reported her home router kept moving around at night. After reviewing security footage, it turned out her dog was dragging it by the cable across the floor. At least someone was making sure the Wi-Fi got its steps in. 98. A woman reported her smart oven betrayed her by burning cookies after she left the baking app open on her phone. She thought it would automatically track her attention span. Sadly, even smart ovens haven't evolved enough to judge when you're too deep in a TikTok scroll. 99. One man wanted to sue the company because he couldn't figure out how to plug his wireless earbuds into his phone. No one had the heart to explain what wireless meant anymore. 100. A man was furious that his smart home speaker didn't improvise recipes based on the groceries in his fridge. He expected it to sense the ingredients and invent dinner ideas. Honestly, if Alexa ever learns to freestyle pasta, I'm retiring from cooking forever. 101. One final user demanded a refund because their smart home hub kept toggling lights at 3 a.m., convinced it was haunted spying on them. Tech support gently explained the vacation mode feature was programmed to turn lights on and off to mimic presence, and not to torment insomniacs. Somewhere out there, another customer is yelling at a blender to download Spotify. Another thinks their Wi-Fi has feelings, and someone, right now, is about to pour coffee into a USB port. So tell me, which one broke your brain the most? And be honest, have you ever called tech support for something you're now too embarrassed to admit? Drop it in the comments. Confess your sins, and don't forget to subscribe.